I'm glad we're back. One more thing, guys. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Help get us to, I think, 210 is our next magic number. And keep liking the video, leaving comments. Keep downloading us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all of that good stuff. Let's get right into this news. Some very, very rough news out of Denver. I think we pretty much all saw this coming, though. But Michael Porter Jr. is going to undergo a surgical procedure on his lower back right. And he's going to miss pretty much, it looks like, the entirety of the season. What's you guys' reaction to this news that just came out of Denver?
It's pretty disappointing and rough. But like you said, I think we expected this the way they were kind of just keeping the injury kind of tucked away. You know, it had to be something serious, and most likely, because I don't know, because this is his third back surgery he's had, and he's like in his early 20s, like really, really early 20s. So that's really bad. Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to pan out for him in the long run, but hopefully, you know, he comes back better than ever.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. I'll say that. We put some big expectations. I know you all both did. I had some good expectations for him too. But when he signed that contract, we kind of had some, you know, we really wanted him to make that step to, I know, Ty, you said make that step to an all-star level player. Mm-hmm. And that first part of the season, he wasn't showing it. Yeah. And now to have this setback, it's kind of, it's messed up, but I don't know. I think once he, you know, really resolves this, I think he'll be fine.
Hopefully so, because man, this has been something that's been bothering him since high school, you know. And as I mentioned before, man, we saw it in the NCAA tournament. Like, we literally sat and watched it. And I keep referencing that time we were all sitting there watching that game, Mizzou versus somebody in the SEC tournament.
Georgia.
Yeah, and you could just literally see it. Like, he just shouldn't have been playing the game, and so then he kind of gets to the NBA. Slow start, gets to the bubble, then he kind of starts to find himself. And then last season, obviously, he put the numbers up that he put up. They give him this max contract, which is over $30 million a year. If he would have made like an All-NBA team at some point, he would end up being $40 million. And then now the injury comes and happens. Blake mentions he gets off to this really, really slow start to the season, which was very disappointing because, as we all mentioned, we all thought this was going to be the year he comes in and he's maybe over 25 a game. And I'll say this too. It was just a slow start, and what we did get to see from him, because it's still early in the year, but what we did get to see from him was only like, 6 games, maybe even less. Yeah.
But maybe that's why he was playing, like, you know,
true,
under the level.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I don't think people understand, when you shoot or do any sport and like do anything active with your back, it's a short pain and it hurts.
Yeah,
like real bad.
That's one of the worst. You obviously have your lower body injuries, but the back thing is tough because I don't know if you guys have ever had back pain and try to do something athletic. Like I had back pain once and tried to run, and you know, it's just like you may as well not even try. You know.
Yeah, I haven't had it consistently, but I had it a couple times. Yeah, it's pretty hurt. It hurts pretty bad. But I know this kind of injury is kind of what ended Dwight Howard's prime when he started having back injuries. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind. Yeah, back injury is definitely one of the worst to have in all sports. And then you look at it from a larger perspective with Denver as a whole, they're missing a lot of guys. Like Jokic hasn't played his last couple, and we had a conversation.
I think he's Jokic is back tonight though.
He's back tonight, yeah. But then I mean, you know, with him missing his last couple, you look at what Denver did. They dropped a ton of games, and they've dropped lower and lower in the rankings in the Western Conference after being somewhat solid. Like there was a point in time where this team was pretty solid, even without MPJ and Jamal Murray. And then Jokic goes out, and I think they've dropped their last 6 games in a row. And you know, now I think they're in the 10th spot in the Western Conference. Then there's also the PJ Dozier injury. You know, he's out for the entirety of the season, it looks like, and he was a nice role player for them. Then obviously Jamal Murray is one. So this is a team that's so hindered by injuries, and a team that we all expected to make this somewhat. I mean, I don't know if we came into the season expecting a championship run because we all knew Jamal Murray is not going to be there, but we expected at least for them to be solid throughout the year. It just looks like it's going to be tough now that everybody's kind of leaving the lineup due to injuries. You know, they're probably the most affected by injury. I don't think I've seen a team where guys just go down, so many like valuable role players just go down player by player like this. You know what I mean? Like versus Murray, like literally your second option goes down in Jamal Murray, and then your third option. Like, have we ever seen like your number 2 and number 3 options go down like that?
I guess when you say, can you say LA last year?
Yeah, but it was.
Yeah,
that's true, because it was 1 and 2.
But then again, it wasn't season ending. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've seen it.
That's true.
I haven't seen it.
Our season ended though.
Right. It ended pretty early.
It did in the first round.
Yeah, but it's rough, man. And Denver's just not looking good at all. And so this is one of those teams where, we did think they were going to be an elite squad out west, and then now they're just kind of being pushed to the back burner. And I don't know how everything else is going to pan out for them. Who knows? They can get back to this point where they're solid again and stay afloat. Maybe it can happen. I mean, they're 10th right now. Is 10th good for a play-in spot? Is that, or does it go?
Yeah, the last spot.
That's you on the fringe. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not out. It's 100% not without the realm of possibility that they're able to stay afloat. And maybe end the season with like maybe a 9th spot or maybe an 8th spot. Look who's below them right now, the Kings, and they're just not going to get things right. Who knows? They've been up and down the last couple of games. The Thunder, the Spurs, the Pelicans, and the Rockets. Those are the teams underneath them. And I don't know. You can probably say New Orleans can compete with them. And maybe take their spot if Zion comes back. That's a possibility. Who knows?
He's been cleared.
That's a big if, though.
He's been cleared to practice.
Yes. That could be big. That could be major, actually. Yeah.
Hey, tell me the Spurs record. Is it like 4-13 or something? Or 5-13?
5-13, right on the dot.
That's I didn't expect them to be that bad, bro.
I have a very fun fact. This is relevant to nothing we're talking about right now, but to the point of the Spurs. I was reading through power rankings today, and I saw that they're second in the NBA in free throw attempts with the lowest amount of makes in the NBA free throws. So they just
really? Yeah. But they got a bunch of DeAndre Jordans at the line.
Right. That's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, circling all the way back to Denver, it's really tough to see. And who knows who's going to emerge now as that next second guy. I mean, this look like it's going to be Will Barton, and he's good, but he's not a good second option. So even if they do make the play-in, we're not faithful that this team is going to get anywhere past just the play-in, right? It's just going to end up being play-in. Maybe we win one game in the play-in, lose the second, whatever that gets us. Maybe let's say we do squeak into the playoffs when it's all said and done. We're not going to get past the first round. It's really tough to see, and it could cause a lot of major disruptions with their personnel. Like a bad season could hinder your coaching. Who knows if this bad season could end up being Mike Malone's last season, because it's been a couple of years of them almost getting, over that threshold in the West, and it just hasn't really happened. So this type of stuff can shake up a franchise big time, and it's, as I said, it's really rough to see. It can definitely affect MPJ's stock. Carl, you mentioned that or one of you guys mentioned that he'll get back, and kind of, get back to his normal self or whatever. But what if he doesn't? I'm speaking really bad case scenario here. What if he ends up becoming this guy to where he just can't recover, and now you're sitting on a $30 million contract? Yeah.
That's not.
Hey, nobody's gonna want to take that.
Right.
That's not crazy. That's not crazy. That's not crazy to think that, bro. Because when you have one injury and you keep hurting the same thing, most likely you're not gonna. I don't want to be that person, but most likely you're not going to be what people thought.
That's true. That's true.
Because you can even still be productive statistically, but then people are just going to look at the injury like John Wall. Like, okay, John Wall isn't his best self, but statistically, I mean, he's not efficient, but statistically, if you look at what Russell Westbrook, if you look at Russell Westbrook, he's still being picked up by teams. There's not much of a difference between John Wall and Russell Westbrook. But, is there a major difference at all?
Well, I'll say one thing: Russell Westbrook turned the ball over more. That's about it. But,
right,
but he's been better. He's been better. He's been better though. I give him that. He's been better late.
Yeah, but it's like that's the thing though. One injury that could just become permanently a part of your reputation, and you can still put up solid numbers, but no one's just going to want to pick you up. So hopefully that doesn't end up becoming the case with MPJ because he's got way too much talent. He's too great of a player. And it'd be really rough to see a guy like him kind of go down because I think. I think he's got potential, and I thought he had all the potential in the world to become a top 5 player at some point. It's not every day you get a dude who's like 6'11", who can shoot the ball off the dribble and off the catch like he can. There's still some things we wanted to see from him defensively, but there was some hope that he was going to kind of get to that level, and all of that. So yeah, just really rough stuff to see. You hate to see it, honestly. You really hate to see it. But as I said, we kind of saw it coming, the surgery and all of that.
Yeah. Do you think like a messed up back or a painful back is worse than like a torn ACL? Like, is that which one you think? Because people come back from torn ACLs today like it's nothing, like eat with ease.
I think if you tear your ACL, that's kind of
people come back from
worse. That's still worse.
That's
still ACL, dude. That's so
torn Achilles is the worst one to me.
That's true.
Have we had a guy recover from a torn ACL and go back to his normal self? Obviously, Derrick Rose is out.
Paul George at one point after the next year.
Was PG's ACL? injury? Is it torn ACL?
Yeah, oh no, it was a broken ankle.
Yeah.
No, it was broken leg.
Yeah, broken leg.
Oh, yeah.
Let's keep it torn ACL. Has anybody come back from torn ACL and went back to their normal self? Let me actually look that up. NBA players with torn ACL.
I know some football players have a couple of them, but I'm trying to think because I thought Paul George, it was his leg, not his ACL.
Yeah. I'm looking at some guys. I mean, Kyle Lowry is a name.
I didn't know
when he tear in.
I'm not sure. It could have been early in his career, but I don't remember it.
Hey, it was in college, and they threw it in there.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't remember this. I mean, this is probably before. Okay, there's actually a Bleacher Report list, guys who tore their ACL and recovered better than ever. So there's Al Jefferson, there's Baron Davis, who tore his ACL before he went to the NBA. Yeah. Okay. There's David West. There's a couple of these names are kind of like Now Jamal Crawford had one really early in his career. And then I think in 2001, and then obviously his best years were after 2001. So there are a couple of names, but none of these guys are like franchise level, $30 million a year players. So,
I don't even really know have the top players actually tore their ACL. It's not a lot of them that have.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, the only one I can think of now is not Kyler Murray. I was saying Blake's boy. Jamal Murray. That's the only one I can think of. All the other ones, like the top 5 or 10 players, I don't remember them. Well, Clay's the other one.
Yeah, Clay.
When he comes back, we'll see. He can be that one big name kind of player.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. With him, I feel like it's going to be super easy for him to get right back and get to it because all you need Clay to do. Yeah. Yeah. And he's had a very good, like, long amount of time to recover from the injury too. So that's always great to see. Yeah. Shout out to Michael Porter Jr. I'm glad he's getting the surgery. It kind of looked like I read something today. They were kind of gauging through options and they were trying to take every option that didn't require surgery. But all the experts said you pretty much have to get surgery on this ACL or this back actually. And it just, it just ended up being what it is. But hopefully he'll be back by next season. Who knows, by surprise? Because I don't know what's going to end up happening. Who knows? Hopefully he'll be back and be able to recover and go back to his normal self.
My bad. Go ahead. What is that? His second? Third.
Yeah.
Third. I read it was third today. That's bad to be as young as he is.
So there was one. So Carl, there was one before. Was there one after he got drafted? Right. And that was before.
I think there was one in high school, one before after he got drafted. Mm-hmm. And this is the third.
Yeah, right. Right. It was right when before he got drafted, and it lingered to like a whole year of him sitting out his first real true rookie year.
Yeah.
That caused him to sit out. But yeah, so he had one in high school, I think, one in college, one to NBA, one now.
That's rough. Yeah, you said it, man. A back injury is one of the worst ones to play with in basketball, especially if you're just sitting on the perimeter shooting. Like I said, think about how much it affected Dwight Howard, who like, I don't want to minimize what he did, but it's not going out there pulling up every time off the dribble on the three-point line and all of that. There's just more mobility required with being a small forward than being a center.
He lost his athleticism too. Dwight Howard did.
Sure did.
Because he still had it with the Lakers, and then when he was at the end of his contract with the Lakers, he started getting hurt. Yep. And then he went to the Rockets, and he clearly wasn't the same player.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Very true. Sad stuff, man. Sad stuff for Denver. Yeah. We'll see what happens. And who knows, right? I mean, I don't know. Is Jamal Murray's timetable straight up like he's not going to play this season? Because
I think they said that he won't be back until like later on.
So that could be. I mean, if this team stays afloat and he does end up coming back, I mean, we're not talking championship or anything, but they could end up somewhat saving. If they get to the second round of the playoffs and lose in a competitive second round series, which is like total best case scenario because the West is very tough this year, we can kind of look at it as if they saved the season or whatever. So who knows?
Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
You said bowl. They need to start playing them now.
If they don't play him now, I don't get it.
But at this point, guys, it's not going to happen because they literally went the last. Let me look at his numbers here, but they literally went the last couple of games, lost 6 straight. Last couple of games, there's no Nikola Jokic, there's no Michael Porter Jr. And they're down another role player. They're playing them in garbage time. I'm seeing 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 0, 4, 11, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0 was last couple of games.
Oh, get them up out of there.
Man, they're not playing them. They're not playing them at all. So it's just not. I think our bowl hopes are like straight up crushed now. It's just not going to happen.